So I'm going to go over a few of these problems. I'm not necessarily going to get to the answer to them, but just working through the problems with you. Okay, so number 1 says that DeMont exposed 5 bean plants to different amounts of sunlight each day. And after 10 days, he recorded the final heights of the plants on the graph below. So which statement is true? So the amount of daily sun is a dependent. Okay, so first off, when we have a graph, okay, this is your x-axis. Let's get a different color there. This is your x-axis, and this is your y-axis, okay? Your x can stand alone, so if we removed this line right here, your x can stand alone, tall and strong, right? And if we are connecting this top line, it would just continue to fall down if it's not standing tall and strong on our x. So while x is tall and strong, that makes it independent. This y line is resting on our x, which means that it is dependent on the x. Okay, so it says that the sunlight, the amount of daily sunlight is dependent quality. So it's saying that this is dependent. Is that true? No. The amount of daily sunlight is an independent quantity. Yes. And the final height is dependent quantity. So is this dependent? Yes. So our answer is B. Number 2. Felix visited a math website that featured a random number generator and used the generator to create a list of 5 random integers acquired. Felix found the correct sum of the 5 integers. What is the correct sum? Okay, so I'm going to say this now. On every single one of these problems, if you haven't read them and you're just reading them for the first time with me, after we read them together, I need you to press pause and try. Okay, and then press play and see if you got the correct answer, and if not, what your mistake was. Okay, so this is just an honor system. So at this time, please press pause and try this problem. Okay, so my best advice to you is to get all of your negatives together and all of your positives together, because it's just going to make life a little bit easier. So if we take our negatives and then we're going to add them together. So we have a negative 18, a negative 27, and a negative 9. So when you have negatives and you combine more and more negatives, you just get more and more negatives. So even though all of these are negative, we're going to still be increasing our value, right? Our answer is just negative. So 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. And then this is 2, 4, 5. So 54 negatives. Positives, we have 12 and 16. 6 plus 2 is 8, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so now it wants us to find the correct sum, so we have to combine these two numbers together. Okay, so which one is bigger? Are there more negatives or are there more positives? There are definitely more negatives. So this is what we call the winner, right? So which means that our answer is going to be positive or negative. Our answer is going to be negative. So we can go ahead and just mark negative, right? Answer is going to be negative. So bigger number on top, smaller number on bottom, and then you told me my answer is negative. So I'm going to subtract these numbers because they're opposite signs, which means I need to subtract. I have to borrow right here. 14 minus 8 is 6. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have a negative 26. So we come over here to 6, to 2, 6. So when you fill out your bubbling, it automatically means positive if you don't fill this part out. So please, please, please make sure you mark that negative. Okay. Number 3, Vicki wrote negative 3.5 as the answer to a math problem, which shows the opposite of the number and the absolute value. Okay, so go ahead and press pause. Press play when you have finished. Okay, so if we have negative 3.5, the opposite would be the positive version, which is 3.5. Then we have the absolute value, right? Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. So the absolute value, remember, looks like this. And it's the distance a number is away from 0. So can absolute value be positive? Yes. Can absolute value be negative? No. Negative 3.5 is exactly 3.5 spaces from 0. So which one of these values have both 3.5 positive? And that would be J. Okay, number 4. The plot shows the prices of 10 different buttons that are sold at a fabric store. Based on the stem and leaf plot, which statement is true? So the mode is 5 cents. So if we go here, remember the mode is what is repeated the most. So what number do we see the most here? And that would be this. What number is that? That's 15, because there's your stem, write it down. There is your leaf, write it right next to it. What number is that? 15. So no, the mode is not 5 cents, it's 15 cents, because these are dimes and these are pennies. The range is 35 cents. So what is your biggest value? That's going to be the very last number. So your stem and your leaf is 0.35. And then what is your least value? That's going to be the very first number. Your stem is 0 and your leaf is 5, but it's 5 pennies. So how do we write 5 cents? Right here. So 35 minus 5 cents is 30 cents. So that's incorrect. The mean of the data is 17 cents. So the mean is that you would add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. So we have 5 cents. Go ahead and write up all the numbers and then press play when you have finished. Okay, so here are all my numbers, and I changed the colors according to the stems so you knew where I got the numbers from. And so we're going to add these up together. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So $1.70. Okay, and then it tells us that there are 10 numbers here. So $1.70 divided by 10. Bring your decimal straight up. Goes into 17 one time with 7 left over. 10 goes into 77 times with 0 left over. So the mean is 17 cents. So that is true. Okay. Which answer choice represents an expression? So an expression means that there is no equal sign. So if we have product, that means that we're going to be multiplying, right? So the product of 6 and y, the word is equals. That is means equals. Okay, so if this says is, then that means is 24. So the product of 6 times y is 24. So that is an equation, not an expression. Okay, so what else has equals? So we look at H. 6 is divided by Q equals. That one just says the word in it, right? So it says 6 divided by Q equals 5. Okay. 18 plus W is negative 3. That means equals. So the sum of R and 4 minus T. It didn't say is, it didn't say equals, so that is our answer. Okay, so that's it for the first page. The second page, we're going to go through as well. So it says the times that the students in Brandy's class wake up on Mondays are represented on the graph below. Okay, so which statement is true? This shape A says the shape of distribution is asymmetrical, so that means that it's not symmetric. So remember, if we draw a line down the middle of our data, does the left side equal the right side? So do they look the same? It does look the same, so this is symmetric. It's not asymmetric, so that's wrong. This shape of distribution is asymmetrical on B. That's wrong. So I don't even have to read the rest because the moment there's one word that makes it false, it's false. The shape of distribution is symmetrical, true. The mean and median are represented by 616 to 630. So the median is the middle of the graph, right? So if we go here, the middle of the graph is 616 to 630. And so that is true. And then D says the shape of distribution is symmetrical and the mean and median are not represented by that. So that's false. Okay. Number 2. Gustavo plotted points W, X, Y, and Z on the coordinate grid below. What point is plotted at negative 5.5 and 2.5? Okay, so first we move side to side. Okay, so that side to side is this line right here. Okay, these are your positives, these are your negatives. So if it is at negative 5.5, we're going to start at 0. And we're going to go over 5.5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1/2, right? And then it says 2.5. So 2.5 right here. And we go up, it's positive, and if we go down, it's negative. So from here, we go up 2.5. That's 1, 2, and then 1/2. What number is there? X. Number 3. Number 3 says, on the triangle below, angle A and C are congruent. That means that they're equal to each other. So if angle A and C are congruent, this is an isosceles triangle, which means that side AB is congruent to side BC. So it says angle A and B are congruent? No, it told us A and C are congruent. Then it says that angle B and C are congruent. Well, no, it told us that A and C are congruent. Okay, and it says side AB, that's right here, is congruent to side BC. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay, the model below represents the surface of a shard of glass. So what is the area of the surface of the shard of glass? So this is a triangle. So from your star chart, you can pull that area equals 1/2 base times height. And we change that to area equals base times height divided by 2. So here we have our base and we have our height, right? So we can plug in A equals 15 times 6.5 divided by 2. And I think that we know how to finish that problem. You're going to multiply these numbers and then divide by 2. Okay, we've got 2 more. Using a truck, Mr. Salazar needs to haul 4.2 tons of gravel from a quarry to his house. And then his truck can haul 3/5 a ton of gravel at one time. What is the least number of trips Mr. Salazar will make from his house to the quarry? Okay, so he can travel 3/5 ton of gravel at one time. And he needs to haul 4.2 tons. So let's go ahead and convert 3/5 to a decimal. 3/5, and we need 10 as a denominator. To get here, we would multiply by 2. So to get here, we would multiply by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Read it like you see. Write it like you read it. 6/10 is 6/10. Okay. Go ahead, press pause, and you're gonna You're gonna divide those two numbers up and press play when you have finished. And you should have gotten 7.